which is a different world than this world of lies. So, and God says to us that if we go astray, this people will go astray and go after foreign gods. That's in Devarim 31:16. The verse does not state lest this people will arise or when or if. It seems to be a definite prophecy that this will happen. And in view of the principle of free will, such a statement could be seen as being most unusual. But we can understand this as an expected phenomenon, that the noble idealism of an entire nation cannot continue indefinitely. Hashem declares here that a partial breakdown must occur. As Rashi points out, this did not happen soon after Moshe's passing. As we read, in Israel served Hashem all the days of Yahushua and all the days of the elders who outlived Yahushua. That's from the book of Yahushua 24:31. But even this expected phenomenon that a breakdown would occur does not mean that the nation in its entirety will go astray. This is not intended in general everywhere. And he promised and said, for it shall not be forgotten from the mouth of his seed, Devarim 31:21. So basically, that the lessons that we learn from the Holocaust and what we can take away for anti-Semitism in today's world, it's not just blaming them like they need to accept us and love us and we're no different than them. No, that's a lie. We're lying to ourselves. And in fact, I would say most of the Jewish people are the most anti-Semitic in general. Because why? Because they don't want the truth of God. They don't want to be held. They don't want to be committed to something. They want to be free. They think, oh, well, it's freedom of choice. That's my free will. But it's not. It's like if you are Jewish, you come from this line, you have a different purpose in life than the 70 nations. And even the Erev, which was a group of the mixed multitude that came out of Egypt Moses took them out of Egypt with the nation of Israel. And they're the heads of the nation of Israel in these our end of times, hopefully very soon. And I mean, if you just look back at the history of the Holocaust too, and how there's a great book called In Jewish Blood. I can't remember who wrote it now, but you might want to take a look at it. So what happened, again, maybe I'm not a very good teacher, I don't know, but we said 150 years before the Holocaust, there was Mendelssohn. Okay, and he broke down the fences between the Jews and the Goyim. Okay, because before that, indeed, every Jew was mainly keeping all things. They were separated in their little villages or in their towns, and there wasn't a lot of mixing going on, just for sometimes business and stuff. But they paint a picture of the Holocaust, like, especially in Hollywood and whatever, and in newspapers and whatever, even at the time, that everybody was a frum Jew, everyone was a religious Jew, and the Holocaust happened anyway, and it's a complete mystery, and God forsaked us, and where was God? Because these were the faithful. They were not. They were already 150 years of mixing in the Reform movement, Zionism, and nationalism. That's it. They said they wanted to replace the Torah, and even in Berlin, they started to change the Torah. I think Mendelssohn himself did a translation of the Siddur, of the prayer books, into German, and replaced Jerusalem with Berlin. So what do you expect? I mean, is God going to be like, okay, that's fine with me? No. So what lessons can we learn from the Holocaust? We can learn a very great lesson, that what is written in the Torah will come true, and it is written in the Torah that if you will not listen to me and you will scorn my laws, then I'm going to chastise you. Sheva al chotetchem, again and again. You'll become insane from what your eyes will see. There will be such tragedies that you couldn't have pictured beforehand that would happen. Gehinnom, hell, will come to this world. Those people who disdained Gehinnom, who didn't believe in it, will have an opportunity to see it with their own eyes. The Holocaust was Gehinnom, was hell in this world. So, and there were warnings that came before that. There was it progressed, increasing in severity. So there was a Dreyfus affair that came in 1894, and the pogroms of 1903. There was other things. World War I came, and things got progressively worse. Yet the masses of European Jews steadily strayed increasingly from the Torah, and because they declared war on God, he declared war on them. When retribution finally arrived in the form of the Nazi Holocaust, a multitude of the Jews were not told the true interpretation of the terrible message, and they continued to admire the Gentiles and to walk in their ways. And what happened also there, as everybody does know, the people who lived in communities with Goyim mixed in with them. They worked with them in all different professions. They were their doctors, they were their lawyers, they had retail shops, they were professors. They were all mixed in here, and their neighbors turned on them. It's weird, right? But it's because God is in our world and God directs the world. So, I mean, it doesn't really make sense, but it does. It does if you believe in God. And that's what we see in today's world too. We see a lot of Jewish people going after different ideologies and just like so far away from God, but yet still calling themselves Jewish. That's a form of insanity. How can you serve another God? Yeah, and be inclusive and you're not more loving than God. Sorry to say that, but you're not more inclusive than God. You don't just decide that love is love, and it's okay. Whoever you want to love, go ahead and love. And we endorse that as a Jewish community. In fact, we're proud. Proud, again, that's that word that God hates. Proud. He likes humble. Humble is what God likes. But you're proud of your inclusive communities, or inclusive Jewish communities, and love is love, and pride, and all that stuff. You are bringing anti-Semitism upon the whole nation of Israel, because God does not want that to happen. So he has to stop that somehow. Did you know? Back in the days when they had the Beit Din, the Jewish courts, I mean, we still have, okay, let's say the Sanhedrin, okay, the high Jewish court, where when they put someone to death, which by the way didn't happen very often, it's not like, oh, okay, but when they did that, they did it to save the soul, because it's okay, this world is likened to a hallway. So you're going through the hallway in preparation for the main event, okay, and they talk a lot about it in stuff as like a banquet hall. So there's first you go through the hallway to the banquet hall, and then there's the banquet. So if you are in the hallway and you eat all the little, hors d'oeuvres, I guess, and you get way too full, then you get to the banquet, you're not well prepared. Or they also, it's compared to like a journey on a ship. You're going to go on a ship, and you're going to be out in the middle of the ocean forever and ever and ever, for eternity. So in this world, you need to prepare for that. So if you were going to go on a journey from this world, you would make sure that you had everything you need, because there's not going to be no stopping here. You're going to be in the middle of the ocean. So you're going to want to take, all the clothes that you're going to need. You're going to want to take all the food that you're going to want to need. And you're going to have to take everything that you're going to need out there. But if you just get too busy being here and you even miss the ship, then what have you done? So the Beit Din would put people to death in order to save their souls. Okay, remember the candle and the flame? The flame is the eternal thing. The body is just temporary. And so, I mean, it kind of sounds bad, but like even all the Jews that died in the Holocaust, it was just their bodies that died. And a lot of them were religious, and a lot of them, because what happens when there's din, when there's judgment in the world, it doesn't differentiate between the righteous and the unrighteous. That's why you have to separate yourself. Don't be going over here. And you can see in our world it's becoming more and more and more and more chaotic. Chaos. Chaos is the opposite of order. Okay? So it's becoming more chaotic. I mean, I think you can look out your window and see that, or at least look online or something, you can see it's trending towards chaos. That's what happened in the flood. So when we talk about anti-Semitism, we're talking about an ideology that is God-focused. And that's the work of Am Yisrael, the nation of Israel. It's not to be mixed in here. and doing all these things, okay, that will bring anti-Semitism. It's the opposite of what your brain thinks. Your brain thinks that if we're like you, you'll like us, and there won't be anti-Semitism. But no, it's the opposite, because this is upside down world. This is upside down world, so it's opposite. If you separate yourselves, keep the Torah, have the protection of God, then you're not even worried about there's no anti-Semitism. But if you mix in, then there is anti-Semitism, okay? And it's like we said again in Germany, that when Mendelssohn did that, broke down the fences, and everyone mixed in, then they were surprised later on that it wasn't just the frum Jews, like you see sometimes mainly in, like, you know, Schindler's List or whatever. There's every Jew had peot and a long beard and were wearing a long coat. No, most of the Jews had already abandoned the Torah. They were already, if they kept anything, if they were Jewish, they were Zionists already, and they wanted to form a new nation, a nationalistic group nation in Israel, in Eretz Israel, the land of Israel, and without God, without His Torah. And you can look at all through the history of Israel how that's been. And the fact that Israel still remains today is just because of God. Because even if you look at all of the wars, none can be explained. None can be explained by the strategy of the great strategy. And I'm not saying that but God necessarily dispersed the nation of Israel amongst all the other nations to keep them safe. Because if they were ever in one place all at once, it'd be easier to kill them and wipe them off the face of this earth. This is what the Erev wanted to do when they brought all the Jews to Israel, and then they said good luck. And they were, I'm sure, very shocked that all those wars didn't wipe us out yet. But that's because God has mercy on us. But there will come a time when things are going to get bad again, and you can start to see it. With the rise of anti-Semitism are just warnings to come back to God. They're not warnings to the 70 nations to stop not liking us. We're just like you. We also love your God. Please, like us. No, it's the opposite. God is actually telling you to come home, live your actual purpose of life. The reason you're here is to prepare for the Olam Haba. Maybe check out the Rambam's 13 Principles of Faith. Okay? So maybe that explains a little bit about anti-Semitism. All the, I don't know how to say it, like UN and the World Economic Forum, and shouldn't there be a brotherhood of man? I mean, shouldn't everybody be working together to make sure that life is better for everyone? And I'm not talking about the 17 principles of Agenda 2030, hello, nothing makes sense, because, yeah, there is a brotherhood. There's a brotherhood of people who don't like anyone. They are a group of themselves. That's the brotherhood. They're all in this together. They are. So either you know that and you're looking for the truth, or you're just helping them. So, anti-Semitism. Homosexual rabbis, homosexual gay converted from some other nation, converted not orthodoxly, obviously, because you're gay and you're married to a man. You can't be, that's anti-God. It's just anti-God. And again, you're not more merciful and more benevolent and more loving than God, than the actual source of love and mercy and benevolence. You're not more than that because you say, okay, everyone can do what they want. That's Sodom and Gomorrah thinking. Everyone just do whatever you want. So